So let's discuss the ones you have done together. Okay, first question. Today is. First question, you've all done it. I've seen what you did. So we just talked about the last part. So can you tell me what you got as F inverse? F inverse of X. What do you get?
3x.
Speak louder and fast, please.
3x squared minus 3 over x squared plus 1.
Okay. So what we notice is that the domain of F is actually range of F inverse, right? And our F inverse cannot be negative. No. The domain of F inverse is the range of F, right? So by the definition of our F, give me the definition of F again. Square root of 6 plus 2x, 6 minus 2x, something like that. So we know that for this to be a function, it has to be plus square root. So we can't afford to have negative square root. Okay? Otherwise it's not a function. Do you get that? Remember that? So because we cannot have plus or minus as the output, then the input of this also cannot be plus or minus, even though you can substitute that. So the domain of F inverse is actually set of R plus, or some of you can write it as from 0 to anywhere. So depends on your choice of writing. Okay? Or you can write, remember I will write a set of X such that X belongs to any of these three is fine. So the range, it's not a script. The range of F inverse is actually the domain of this, which is already given. It's already given in the question. Okay, so that's just from minus 3. Is minus 3 included?
Yes.
So you can see, so because this is included, but this is not included. Can you see that? From the question. So now 2. Question 2. For question 2, we have f of x is 5 over x plus 1. X is not negative 1, otherwise it's not defined. The first question is x-intercept. X-intercept is when y is equal to 0, and y cannot be 0. So x-intercept does not exist. So there is no x-intercept is what you write. Y-intercept is when x is 0, that's easy, that is 5. The vertical asymptote is already given there when x is negative 1. So from what you discovered yourself, you can find the coordinates where they intersect. You solved that already. What do you get for the coordinates? What do you get for A? Quickly, please, we don't have time. Guys, you waste time when you keep quiet and wait for someone to respond. You just tell me if you have the coordinates. What is coordinate of A? Negative 2, negative 5, and
4.
so please stop waiting like, oh, Clarissa will say it. Please, it annoys me.
1 and negative 1.
1 and negative 1?
No.
4 and 1.
Just normal.
Like this?
Yeah.
Please, when I'm working with time, I hate some of this as slow response. And if you look at C, C is the equation of the line that passes through these 2 points, which is already the line given. Like one of you rightly pointed out, if this is a curve, whatever, and the line intersects in 2 places, and this is line G, this is where they meet. So the equation of the line that passes through this point is actually the equation of line G. So that's why you probably get the same thing, which is x minus 3, right? And the gradient of the line perpendicular to that line will just be negative 1, because the gradient of line G is 1 itself. Okay, so the next question you look at is this question. F of x is 2x minus 1 squared minus 8x belongs to R. So the first thing is, show that f of x is this, just expansion. We don't need to waste time on that. B, the graph from the graph. For the graph, write down the coordinate of the vertex. That's easy to pick from here. The vertex is this one and this -8. Okay, because at the vertex, this part will be 0, which is x is equal to 1. And when x is 1, y will be -8. So it's just the opposite of the sign here and exactly what you have here. So the vertex is simply 1, -8. That's easy. The second part is the y-intercept. Y-intercept is when x is 0. So when x is 0, you should get what? -6, right? So that's 0, -6. But of course you have to show your workings. I'm only writing the answers that you must get. You have to explain. -6? Okay. Find both x-intercept. X-intercept will be solving the equation is equal to 0. If you expand, fine. If you don't want to expand, you can solve from here. 2x1 squared minus 8 is equal to 0, right? So which means 2x1 squared is equal to 8. So which means x1 squared is equal to 4. So you solve this equation involving perfect square. Plus or minus square root of 4. Eventually you get plus or minus 2. I'm skipping so many things. So you get 1 plus or minus 2. So you get 3 and -1. But that's the x. You have to find the y. Right? You have to find the y. So what do you get eventually when you substitute?
Wait, no, they only asked us to find it.
Is it the x-intercept only?
Yeah, only the x-intercept.
And the y.
Find the x-intercept. Yeah, intercept. Oh, x-intercept will be y is equal to 0 anyway. Right? So basically 3, 0, and what? -1, 0. Yes. Sketch. So you have to sketch. So with this information, it's easy to sketch, right? Because you have the intercepts, you have the turning points. So if we have that, the vertex is 1, 8. So if I put maybe the axis of symmetry here, then the y-intercept is 0, -6. So to intercept here, it turns at maybe -8, or maybe this is the -6, then it turns here, something like that. Then the x-intercept, there's a -1, and there's a +3. So this is -1, maybe this is +1, +2, maybe +3, something like that. It's a sketch, it doesn't have to be accurate. But your sketch shouldn't turn at the y-axis. That's my point. So it should go something like that. Something like that. Okay? Yeah, something like that. Then what else are we asked to do? So the last part, but not the least, g is 6x squared. So the question says f is obtained from g. So f of x is obtained from g when something happens to g. What happens to g is that g is first compressed scale factor a in the y direction. Scale factor a in the y direction means a vertical stretch. Okay, and for vertical stretch, you only multiply by the scale factor. If it's a compression, then the scale factor will be half, fraction, proper fraction. If it is an enlargement, then it will be a positive whole number. Understand that? So as a result, we don't have to worry. So just put your a multiplying g. So that's the first translation, transformation. The second transformation, after this is done, is a translation by vector hk. So which means minus h, then plus k. So this is what you simplify. F of x is given as, what is that expansion that you got for f of x? Okay, it's there. 2x squared minus 4x minus 6. That's the one you use. Because you have to compare now.
Wait, Mr. Daniel. One's in the completing the square format, so why don't we just use the one?
But this is not completing the square. This does not have square.
Oh.
So for g, let's see. For g you have a. What does this give us? 6, right? G of this is what? 6x minus h squared, right? It then might be right. I think because eventually we have that. Then plus k, something like that. Right? So maybe we can use that completing the square format after all. So you have 2x minus 1. Will it work? I'm not sure. Let's see. So this is 6a.
No, we substituted back.
Do you mind? 6a. Is this correct?
Yeah.
Plus k. I'm not sure. Because if okay, so 6a x minus h all squared. Okay, so did you get k as minus 8? Anyone who has done it?
Yeah.
Okay, then your h should be 1 over 3, and your h is 1. Is that what you got? So it's easy to see from this. So I think your approach, I would have probably just expanded for me. So have you done the lean one?
No.
Okay, so try that from home, then try the last 3 also. Try not to check the answer first. After you try, then maybe you can check the answer online. Okay, I'll see you on Friday. Thank you.
你们要先去吗？我要去拿他的钱。
I was trying to do the last one, but nobody wants to do that.
所以你要去查查。
Wow.
One of them.
Is this let me see that.
One of them, yeah.
Do you have time tomorrow?
What?
Do you have time tomorrow?
Yes, I
Can you
do.
explain the matrix of that?
I have to read the paper before I can explain it. The thing is, which of the paper exactly? Please, please. You know, my mind was getting so now that my mind is getting better, so actually I wanted to start anything discussion on the next week. Since I just finished this week, I want to at least get myself better. So send me the paper, then let's start from Monday. Sorry guys, Monday. Oh, wait, it's still recording. Oh no.